happening now for the good times, trying to move on up like George and Wheezy. Welcome back to yet another episode of Divas Talk as Sisters podcast. This is the final episode, guys. Episode 12. We did it. So today I decided for the theme, since the title of episode 12 was a book club diva, I decided to do that background as the library, and I'm going to read from my papers to make it seem more librarian portion or more school portion. Welcome again, and thank you so much for joining today or this morning, afternoon, or whenever you are viewing this. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and share the podcast, because next 2 weeks we will be starting season 2 of Divas Talk as Sisters podcast. I'm super excited about that season as well. However, I'm just going to be doing that season as verbal. So that will be listed on Spotify and Anchor, which Anchor is now Spotify for podcasters. It's just a purple logo instead of the green. But if you type in the word Anchor, Anchor, it'll automatically route you to the Spotify for podcasters. So I'm super excited about season 2. I have all 12 episodes, and I would love for you guys to get your iPods, your earphones, whatever it is, or even just sitting at your computer at work or at home and just tune in. I will show a preview premiere once the episodes have started into the Spotify and the Anchor. But you know how I do it. I have to do what? Rewind. So I'm going to just tap in just a little bit, not as much detail as I normally would do with each one of the episodes, since this is our final episode. I don't want to keep you here long, but I do want to touch up about the title. Now we have gotten from episode 1 to episode 12, which is going to be today. The book is entitled, with each one of the titles that we had, to escalate who we can become, to open up our books and not be such a closed-minded person. Open up, broaden your horizon, speak about your stories, do things in a different way. Learn to self-check yourself, love yourself with self-love, self-care, self-worth. All of my topics make sense into the Book Club Diva, because this is your story. This is your book. Episode 1 was, girl, do you need a check? Do you need a self-check? That's when you can't come correct to somebody if you're not correct yourself. Episode 2 was stuff your mama never told you. Isn't there some things that you often think about, or you wonder, why haven't my mom told me that? And now as an adult, you say, Mom, why you never told me that? Episode 3 was Super Soul Conversations, where you tapped into your spirit, your mind, your body, and your soul. Because what? The spirit belongs to God, but your soul belongs to you. Episode 4 was a second chance. Second chances. Everybody deserves a second chance. You know, God gives us chance after chance after chance, right? So why can't we give second chances? As long as it's not for the same mistake, right? Right. Episode 5. Episode 5 was a thing or two about a diva and her style. You know, people like to classify diva, the word, as being bougie, or she thinks she's more than someone else, but that's not what my definition means in a Divas Talk as Sister podcast. Mine is learning to love your skin, learning to love who you are as an individual, and you're stepping out with your own style, with your own class, with your own way of speaking, with your own figuration of what you expect out of life, or while you're doing your life with your life partner or someone. Episode 6 was, girl, will we sleep, or was our head on the desk during history class? I said that to say, we sleep on our history. We are only taught what our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, whomever it may be in the family, has generalized us as coming down the ladder. So what they tell us is the stories that we buy, the stories that we believe. But do you really know your history? Do you really know where you came from? Do you really know? I don't think so. So make sure you don't sleep on your history. Make sure that you're researching your history so that you can pass that on to your next generation. Episode 7, call your girlfriend. Why? Because I don't roll like that. That's when you're caught at a vulnerable stage in life, and that person may listen to your stories, and in the back of their minds, they're listening, they're hearing, but they're also trying to find that way in to maneuver in to what you're dealing with, because maybe they're trying to get in or just to fit in, if I make sense. Don't be a fool. That situation's not going to last long. You are someone's number one, not their number 2. Episode 8 was nice to finally meet you. When you finally meet that person, are you ready for that person? Because we come into play whereas we think we're ready, but mentally we're not. You have to clear out that baggage, and you will know the one that's for you because God shows you all kind of signs. That little feeling in your stomach, the way you look at her or him when they're around you, that smile that you project on your face, those goosebumps that you get when he touches you or when she touches you, in so many different ways. Let that partner or that person be that one for you that God designed for you. But you're so easily broken, make sure it's nice to finally meet you, diva or divette or dude. Episode 9 was Dig Dug Diva. Stop digging yourself so deep into situations and circumstances that you don't have to. We choose to. Why? Some people feel like they don't want to be alone. Some people feel like, oh, well, because this person has a couple or a husband, I need one too. I can't be by myself. But I'm here to tell you, you can be by yourself. God just didn't design you to be by yourself because he wouldn't have taken a rib from Adam to give to Eve in order to form her, correct? He didn't intend for you to be by yourself. So make sure that you stop digging yourself into deeper holes and growing the same seed or plant. Let's change it up. Change your flower bed, okay? I'm not saying go out there and have a many of them, but change it up and you'll get a better result, okay? That flower may bloom better than that flower over there. Just don't water that one anymore. Continue to water the new one. Episode 10 was A Secret Life of a Diva. It's a lot of times we have secrets that we kind of hold inside because we're afraid we're going to be judged or talked about. Who cares? They talked about Jesus on the goddamn cross. Why does it matter? Being an open book is bringing your genuine self to the table, who you really are and everything that comes behind you. Now, I will say this to say, all the time, spilling your past to your present may not be an accurate thing to do, because sometimes they penalize you and they judge you and they condemn you for something that you've done in your past with a total different person, but they would definitely put a stamp on you if something simularized that, or if something you said to them trigger, or if we're watching a movie and that movie reminded them of something that you said about somebody in your past. Where the heck does that come from? Why do you do that? So you might want to hold back on some of yourself. Humble your tongue, okay? Because I know I am guilty with spreading everything, telling too much. And then when that person comes up or around, oh, well, so you want to go back to that person? Or what made you think about that? What made that come up? It's a various of questions and answers that may be presented to you if you deal with something like that. So I'm sure we all go through it, but I'm telling you personally, don't do it, okay? Episode 11 was A Diva's Mystery. A lot of times we have that person that you're trying to figure out. They have brought to you genuinely, like my partner says, meeting the representative. Meaning that person that they presented to you is the person that you fell in love with. But after a couple of months or maybe after a like, okay, who are you today? Are you Billy today? Or are you Walter? Like, you start to question who that person is because of the multiple personalities that you're seeing in that person. So make sure, because we all have mysteries. You have that person that's genuine, who's sweet, who's loving, who's loyal, who's honest. Then you have that person that you piss off that can be a whole different ball game. Because I know once you've tampered into pissing Katrina in question or in colons, the storm, you have a whole new person. Can we all agree? So today we are going to dive into a book club diva, okay? Welcome again to yet another one. And if you guys have not had the opportunity to go in and view all of the episodes before you get here, I would greatly appreciate it if you do, so that each one of the episodes can add up to where we are today with a book club diva, so that everything makes sense. Every purpose, every word that was spoken and presented, every story makes sense. I am here now because the title of it is Book Club Diva, but I have actually written 4.5 books. My first book that I am about to release, I have to publish it, it's already completed, it's called A Girl with the Larragee's Veil. With that title, I took having that halo or that veil over my head because of my childhood experience and my gift that I got. Excuse me, I don't know why every time I do a podcast, I have to burp. I'm not nervous, I don't know, but hey, I guess it's a habit, so why not add it into the final one? But it just symbolized things that my gift attached to, things that happened in my life as early on as a child on up. I'm not going to spill the beans about what the book is in detail, but it is my story. It is my life story. Once the book is published and out, I will send out a mail. I will actually do like a PowerPoint or whatever to let you guys know, hey, go check out the book, purchase the book. So I would appreciate it if you guys can stamp onto that and assist with that as well. Like I said, I'm not here for charity or donations. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. This is what God laid on my heart to do and to be, and that's who I am, and that's who I'm going to be. So, like I said, I've already rewinded what each one of the titles mean, and that's why we're equaled out to this title. And like I said in the beginning, I want the librarian role. I want the school teacher role. Like my partner always say, girl, you a school teacher. Not a school teacher. If I hear a word that's pronounced wrong, I'm just like, babe, that's not the way you say it. And we're both from the same place, but you want him to speak properly because he's a well-educated person, but speaking on that level, you might be, that don't make you seem too educated. Not that I'm better than anybody else, but, your partner represents you just like I represent him, right? So you want to make sure that his representation is on point. So let me clear some things up. Today, I know I might be talking about a group of ladies or a group of men, or just people in general. I don't have it set for kids, but you never know. Everything leaks on social media. Kids may tap into this and decide to listen to it. So I would eliminate some of my words that's not of child savvy, should I say. And then I have grandkids too that may see this later on in life, and I want them to know, hey, my Gigi, she doesn't speak like that. But when you express yourself, sometimes those words come out that way. So if it does, pardon me, but I am just being me. Remember, everything that I wrote for each one of these episodes are strictly from my head. I didn't copy this from anybody, I promise you. My old office manager could tell you, I can sit there and just write. And she's like, where do you get this stuff from? Where is it coming from? Because I'm just writing, And I mean, clearly you can see I've got like 4 or 5 pages for this topic. However, I'm not going to touch bases on the entire pages, just a little bit of pieces, because I've done this before. Like I said, it's verbal. So if you guys want to listen to that, y'all can go back and listen to it. But what I do is I record each one of my episodes, and I make sure that each one of my episodes relate to as much as possible as that topic that I did verbally. Make sense? So, going back to where, as I said, keeping closed books. A lot of people, they close themselves out, or they keep themselves sheltered. And then when you start seeing things or finding things out, you wonder, where has this person been hiding? Or once they finally have a voice, you're like, wow, I never knew you spoke like that. Or wow, I never knew that you were just that type of person to voice your opinion, or have your identity of your own as an individual. And like I spoke about previous episodes, that's where it comes into a diva or two, about her style, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself, the way she dresses, just the things that she do as an individual herself. So that comes into play with that. But it's basically about transforming who you are, transforming yourself. I'm not saying change you as a person, because a lot of times when you're in relationships, the mate or the opposite person will always be, don't try to change me. I'm this person. You can't make me be this way. You're not trying to change who they are. You're trying to change how they do things while you're with them. Because you don't have to change a person for a person to change up. Let's just say you have a person that everything come out their mouth is a cuss word, but you don't cuss. You don't like that type of stuff. So you try to alter the way they speak, especially if it's directed to you. Now, no woman or man deserves to be called out of their name, but however, in the midst of conversation, sometimes you may speak a word like shit or damn or mf'er, take those words, like I did when I used to teach general assistant. My students would say cuss words in the classroom, very disrespectful. I was like, hey, first of all, you're not going to disrespect me or the class, because there's other people that don't like that vulgar language. And why are you speaking that in dentistry anyway? Because if you're with a patient, mentally you can cuss under your breath, but you're not going to cuss at that patient because a filling or a matrix band didn't fit over the tooth, or you couldn't get the gingival cord inside the gum line. No. So why do it here? It begins from where you start. So I would take each cuss word and change it to a dental terminology word. Let's just say if they said the word ass, you stupid ass, no, you stupid apex, and that's an apex, that's a dental terminology word. Or if they would try to say the B word, buckle, that's the buckle of a tooth. If they would try to say a cuss word like mf'er, mesiofacial. So I would change each one of the cuss words into a dental terminology word. You might want to try that if you have somebody in your family that's a cusser. It doesn't have to be dental terminology words, but it can be some words to use as a substitution. And watch how that change people. Watch. Not who they are, but how they speak. Sometimes we have to learn how to humble our tongue or change the direction of what we use with our tongue. Correct? So in my mind, I'm going back. In my mind, I'm saying, okay, I'm so ready to close this one book, this chapter that never needed to be open. You know how you have that chapter in your life, like you've gone through the physical and mental abuse, and you know that you shouldn't have been there. That book shouldn't have ever been written. But remember, God has already wrote this. So it was something that we had to go through, correct? We must have gone through that. I wouldn't change the path that God gave me for nothing in the world. I had to go through those struggles. I had to go through those hard times. I had to go through losing my father, my son. I had to. This was already written. Did I want to? No. In my mind, I'm like, why? Can't ask God why. Why do I have to do this? But when it's already been revealed to you and shown to you, then you know. You knew already. Now, it's up to you if you're ready for it. Because sometimes, I'm going to say like 80% out of 100%, God show us the signs. He tell us through movies, through music, through actions, through things that you may come in contact with. That's a form of showing you. That's a form of confirmation. Like I said in our previous episode, speak into the universe, speak into your soul, because you're in charge of it. God knows all, hears all, and see all. We just trying to figure it out. So, when I ask my kids, when they were taught the Bible. Okay, you know, we learned in the Bible, we had the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and so on. There's so many. There's the New and the Old Testament, correct? So when we go there and they go to vacation Bible school, they go to Sunday school, they in church, but do you actually keep and preserve that in your head? No, unless you're constantly doing it. Just like they say about Spanish or French. If you don't frequently speak it, then you're not going to remember it, you know? So you have to go back and do your studying, your search, or frequently speak it. Sometimes we can't pronounce some words or things. Hold on a second. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that I was not playing my music. I love to have my music in the background when I'm speaking as a relaxing mode. You know, I injured my back the other day, and that's why you'll see me sitting straight up. But went to the hospital, no nerve, muscle damage. It's just I turned the wrong way. So it's gonna be a couple days of healing process, and that's okay. So back to what I was saying, you know, still we have some things that we can't pronounce or we don't understand, and we have to go in and we have to go look the word up and see what the word means, and we attach the meaning of that word to what we're trying to express or what we're trying to say when we're speaking. Like, I know through a lot of my heartbreaks, sometimes I wasn't good at speaking at the moment, expressing right then and there what I wanted to say or what I felt. So I would take out my journal and I would write in my journal what I wanted to say and express myself. Because to me, even though I'm writing in a journal, I feel like I'm speaking to God, you know? And He knows, and He can put in my mind a better way for me to speak it. It's just like speaking into the universe. I'm speaking it into my journal. So once I've read that a couple times, and after the situation has died down, it may be that one day, it could be 2 or 3 days. I know sometimes we get into it, and with my partner, it's been a while, but I remember sometimes we take 1 or 2 days before we realize that, hey, one of us has got to say something, you know, and how it's approached is such a beautiful way. Like, you need that time to slow it down because your mind is raging right now. You just saying stuff that's just coming out your mouth for the moment because of how you feel or how they made you feel or what they made you feel like. So sometimes you have to soul search and think about how I would like a person to speak to me, or how I would want a person to approach me about that situation. So that idle time, that relaxed music, while you're speaking, or while you're thinking, or while you're writing. This is what allowed me to write my book and completed the book. I have 14 chapters in my book. So can we say yay? That's the first book. But anyway, so that's why I had my music. I had to realize, I was like, hey, I'm speaking like a jabbermouth and I don't have my music playing. So I apologize, guys, for that. But in the beginning, you know, was BC, and that was before Christ. In the end was after Christ. So a lot of things that was happening in our time today. Let me start out first with, I have a designated meaning of the word B-O-O-K. This title of this episode is a book club diva. So for B, that is for belonging. We all belong to something or someone, right? So what's wrong with feeling like we're belonging? Sometimes people feel like they're out of place, like, I don't fit this family, or I don't fit this situation, I don't fit this life. But God gives us belonging. We belong to something or someone. Everything happened for a reason. Everything, whether it's a season, it's definitely your testimony. Then I go to an affinity for a place or a situation. So affinity meaning, yes, I did know what it meant. I'm a spontaneous person, okay? I'm more of a natural-like person. Or I sympathize with someone or something. I'm always that type of person. And I know there's a lot of people out here that's like that, but that's my heart. I have a loving heart, a heart of gold. O is for observant. I'm a very observant person. And my brother-in-law told my partner that about me once he first met me or seen me. He said, she's very observant. So I don't know if that was a light or a key for him to know, because I am. Like sometimes I'll see that maybe his t-shirts, I've washed them so many times and they're just old and rugged, and he's more of a hoarder. He loves to hold on to stuff. Like, I'm like, babe, throw it away. It's a new beginning, throw it away. So I would go out and I would order him some clothes, or like the other day, I'd seen his t-shirts and stuff was dingy and spots on them, and he won't buy himself anything like that. He's more of a family man. He'll do everything for everybody, every situation, and he does not do enough for himself. And I was that person, so now I'm giving back because I belong. So I went out and I bought him some nice t-shirts, the V-neck ones that he never owned. He always had the circle collars. And then I also bought him some circle collars, but some colored circle collars. And then he's always buying me little things. Like when he go out, he come back, he's like, babe, I got you something. It's always a surprise. Like, I promise you guys, like every time. So I said, let me do that more. We started out the relationship to where as every month we would exchange gifts for our month anniversary, but now it's past that. And I said, well, after a year, we'll just start doing it once a year for anniversaries. And I've always done this in our relationships. I love doing that because that shows appreciation, and that shows we have something to work towards and to grow with. So now we just buy random stuff. We just do random things, and I love that too about him. Like, my birthday weekend is coming up, and he's like, babe, I got something planned for your weekend. And I'm like, for your birthday. And I was like, okay, and he always said, babe, you underestimate me. And that's just because I've heard the stories of the past. Like I said, you don't want to judge a person by their past, but I've heard the stories. So I'm like, well, when you're used to patterns, you may still continue those patterns. But when you're used to difference and something new that's for you, you change up the game. Like, you change up how you do things. You don't have to change up who you are, but how you do things. So he said, we're going to pack a bag. And then he slipped up and he said, I hope we land in time for us to do this event. I said, land? I said, you mean we're flying? So, first of all, I'm still kind of scared of flying. I do it a lot, but I'm still scared of flying. But to fly somewhere and I don't even know where we're going, and then events plan, he was like, oh, well, take off of work on Monday on your birthday, because we're going to be going from Saturday to Tuesday. So I'm like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Wow, that's like 3.5, 4 days. Wow, what are we going to be doing like that? So I think he's more excited than I am, and I don't even know. This is what he keeps saying. He said, I think I'm more excited than you are. I was like, well, of course you're going to be excited, because I don't know what it is. I don't know where we're going or what we're doing, but just the thought alone is just so inspiring and so excited, because he put so much into planning a trip. We had another birthday that we've shared together, and my last year birthday, I had 3 different events for each, different cakes, different themes for each day. And this year I was more laid back. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow, because I'm always planning stuff for my birthday. Nobody actually just does things, surprise me parties or anything like that. So I said, let me just relax. And I sat back and I relaxed and I listened to God. I let whatever's gonna happen. And for him to get this stuff together and do this stuff for me, I feel so honored. I feel so privileged, and I can't wait, guys. I'm just super excited about it. And of course, guys, I'm gonna post. I'm gonna do a little collage. I'm gonna even probably do a little PowerPoint about it or whatever, because I'm gonna take full of pictures. Definitely gonna do that. But let me get back on to the topic, because like I said, I don't want to keep you guys long, because this is the final episode. Let's get back to observant. I'm very observant. I told you guys in a previous episode, I eye to eye. I look at behind the eyes to tell if something is real, to figure out if you're lying or not. Just some things that you may tell me a story, but that's not really the story. So if you look at me and I can read straight through you. It may not be, excuse me again, it may not be for that moment. I will speak about it, but I would take it in and figure out how I could approach you with it. It may not be that same day, it could be another day, but I'm gonna approach you because I know that you're lying about it. I know that story is altered, you know. So I said it to say that's part of my observantness. Another one, obedience. I am very obedient to that man up there, to my homeboy, to my boy. And I speak about him in my book. You'll hear me say my homeboy. That is who I'm speaking about, God. I'm obedient. And when I'm in a relationship, I'm obedient to the relationship just because every now and again, an ex or a friend may reach out and say hi and want conversations or send messages or whatever. I'm just that person. I don't hate any of my exes. I don't have any enemies that I know of. You never want to burn bridges for anybody. I'm talking about even the ones that I was physically abused by, like I spoke about before. I love, and I love hard, and I love on everybody. Sometimes that could be a problem in certain relationships because certain people may feel threatened behind that. But once you have my heart wholeheartedly, you have my heart. I'm in it to win it. That's just it, period. I'm very obedient into my relationship. And one of my exes, or 2, 3, 4, whichever one, however many, every one of them know that that's how I am. I'm very obedient into my relationship. And I'm not going to mess up anything in my current relationship. And the last one, K. K being that my name begins with K. And Katrina means pure. I had to figure this out after the storm. I was like, oh my God, a patient was sitting in a chair and she's like, what's your name again? And I said, Katrina. She said, wow, I hope you're not like the storm. I was like, I promise I'm nothing like this storm. Then she said to me, but you are. I feel your heart right now. And I said, I am, I'm not bad. She said, no. She said, have you ever looked up the definition of your name? I said, no, I have not. She said, your name means pure. Now, you know, this was an elderly, one of our other people. I said, pure? I said, oh, really? You know, but I'm doing her cleaning and her flossing in her mouth, so I'm not going to just instantly take off my gloves and go look it up. So once I discharged the patient, I went and I looked it up. And sure enough, the word P-U-R-E is behind my name, pure. I said, oh my God, a name that dances off the tongue. So you know me, when people have my name in their mouth, other than being positive, it rolls right off in my mind. In that voice, I know. Words put some respect on my name. How you boy baby said, even though I don't want to acknowledge him as a situation because that was once my situation. But how he said it, put some respect on my name. So if you're going to put my name in your mouth, put my name in your mouth positive. LOL. Anyway, that's just for jokes. Now, I wanted you to know, I have been on earth a little while. And until a year ago, after the storm, that patient told me what my name meant. Now, you know me. Like I said, I looked it up. I had to make sure, and it all sounds good to me, and it was true. So, I looked it up. P-U-R-E meant that. Now, just get this. It meant so many more meanings. Okay, now, let's push it a little bit further. Once I looked into the Urban Dictionary, Katrina is a typical bright brown or hazel eyes and beautiful inside and out. But the eye part messed with my mind a little bit because I got dark brown eyes, you know. Katrina believes in the true love and have honestly, she had great advice. Now, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got all kinds of songs going on. I got Hotel's phone, I got Work phone going off with alarms. So guys, hold on one second. I'll be right back. How rude and disrespectful for the alarms. Good Lord. But I have them set because one, for me to clock out at a decent time since I work from home. Then I have one that is from my old phone that I need to ship out. And then one from my work phone to make sure that I put in my daily tracker. So that's why I have 3 phones right now, but it's literally only 2. But back to my eyes were dark brown, like I said. Katrina she believes in true love. This is what I find, and this is me. I definitely believe in true love, and I have great advice. It depends on. Now, Katrina's is what it says are naturally beautiful inside and out. And my head started spinning when I read that. I was like, oh my God, this got to be a joke. This has got to be a joke, but. God has a sense of humor, and is he trying to pull my leg or what? But I say that to say it was really hilarious. Now, it states that we are very bright people, but misunderstood. I believe that because a lot of times people take advantage of who we are and what we stand for. It's not just a Katrina, it's other women and everything, but our heart is so pure and we're so selfless that they tend to want to take that heart and run with it. They ain't gonna run with mine. I promise you. Not no more. I've been there, done that. I've grown from that. And I am truly blessed to be with, like I said, the partner that I'm with. However, if this didn't work, believe you me, I said in my previous episode what I was going to be. But I'm gonna still be me as an individual, a diva in her style. So it also states that some of us get hurt. I think all of us get hurt because I know I've gotten hurt before. I know I have 2 cousins named Katrina, like I spoke about in previous episodes. I'm sure they've experienced hurt in their life as well. I don't think it's anybody on this earth who have not came in contact with being hurt before. It doesn't matter how, but you've been hurt. So you know that feeling. But it also states that we fall right back on our feet. We have tough skin. Yes, we do. Sounds like me. They say it's rare to have a friend or a relative with the name Katrina. That's not for me because I have one on each side. Spelled the same way. So now, or by now, I know you're probably saying, what does Book Club Diva have to do with a diva? But when you look up the meaning book club, you get an organization that ships selected books to members often on a regular. Now we're going to change that. We're going to reword that. An organization, I'm going to say mine, Divas Talk as Sisters. Okay? I'm shipping information. I'm speaking information, right? Often. Every week I was doing this. So that's my definition of rewording that. With selective members. I have a nonprofit organization that I have in the group online, 78 members. I have registered members. I think I have 8 or 9 registered members that we used to do things for that I'm trying to get back on ground. Now I have the Texas and Louisiana locations, so it's going to be both. So yay, I'm excited. So I'll be back and forth with Texas and Louisiana, just like I work Texas and Louisiana bound. That's the same thing. I have my organization with that. But the role of a book club diva, or preliminary about relationships, primary about relationships, to create different opportunities for friends and families and generations of people of the community to speak about different things that we've endured in our life, whether they were the same, whether they were worse, whether they were minute but similar. But we do it as a group, as an organization. And It's been my baby since 2013, like I said in my previous podcast, and I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going and going and going. It's 2023, and I'm working for a different outcome, and it will happen. Let me just say something. You know, I always gotta have my Q&As and stuff. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak about too much into this, but I was reading a book. This lady, she had different topics about a diva, but there was 6 ways to in a book, in a series. This is what she said, okay? And she said the first one was to make it a foregone conclusion. And that's what I'm doing, episode 1 through 12. Okay, the conclusion was everything added into that book to tell you a story, right? Season 2 is going to be totally different, but it's going to have a conclusion as well. 2, leave the boss Villani in a play, meaning act out your roles in your skits or your presentations or your podcast. Bring it into where they can feel where you're coming from. They can understand what you're speaking about because they can relate on a many levels. 3, cliffhanger it. Leave it up in the air. So they expecting next week's episode or trying to figure out what will she speak about next week or what's coming next. Number 4, shut the door but open the window. Close that door to that chapter that you just finished and open the window for the breeze to come in to give you new opportunities and new things to speak about. Number 5, include the first chapter of the next book. My next book, guys, I will be speaking about when I do my video premiere for the book once it's published. And I will be telling you about the second book. I have 4.5. Like I said, it's going to be a total of 5. But I will tell you what the second book is. I just don't want to spill it because it's jinx, you know, old school. I don't want to jinx anything. And final, don't transition. Stay who you are. This is my thoughts. Stay who you are, but change up what you do and how you do it to present it or to give it to someone. Create a stand-alone with your ties. Stand as an individual. Be you. Be who you are inside and out. Self-love yourself. Self-growth with yourself. Self-care with yourself. So many self you deserve. Because it's S-E-L-F. Self. I'm going to end this final chapter, guys, and I am going to say not bye, but see you on season 2. Thanks again for joining yet another Divas Talking Sister podcast. I love presenting podcasts, and I am super excited that you're here to join in with me to listen to the podcast, whether you're listening in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. I just appreciate you being here. I love the fact that you just tapped in. Go ahead again and like, subscribe, share, and follow. So when season 2 shows up, you will already have your notification bell. So click on that bell, and every time something premieres or shows up in on the channel, you'll be able to be the first to see it if you are one of my subscribers. So if you have trust issues, if you have to where you need to check who you are before you present yourself to anyone, if you can relate to things that your mom never told you but you're learning now to teach your family, if you have not tapped into your soul, tap into your soul, search. If you are not one to give second chances, give a second chance, just as long as it's not for the same mistake. Be a diva of your own style, okay? Be who you are as an individual. Speak the way you want to speak, dress the way you want to dress, and don't worry about who has to say it, okay? Study your history. Make sure that you know your history so you don't end up dating somebody that's your relative. You know, we just never know nowadays. But study it. Okay? Just to name a few of my topics, good Lord, like I said, you know how I am. Girl, don't get caught up in a situation. They don't last long, and it may seem good at the moment, but it's not always going to end good. Even if it does, think about this. What if he or she did me the same way this was done with me? There's always a light that should come on. Finally, meet the one that God has for you. Let your guard down. Know that there is genuine, true love still out there. There's still good people out there that's wanting to love someone the way that they want to be loved as well. And giving their all to that situation. Stop digging yourself deeper into a situation that you know is going to be difficult to grow out of. Okay? Change the seed. Grow a different flower. Trust me, it will be worth it. Make sure your mystery is not being told once you've already entered into something. Let them still guess some things. You don't have to tell it all. Let it be mysterious, okay? Humble your tongue sometime, because sometimes things that you tell, you'll get penalized for. And today was a book club diva. Everything that we talked about is in this book. This is your story, okay? Make sure you take your story and be an open book. Thanks again, and I'll see you next season.